Okay, welcome to this video. We're going to talk about window families inside of Revit, which we did in the session, and I'm going to do it in this video and clarify on a few issues. We're also going to look at wall sweeps. Now what we're looking at here inside of my window is the shell of Dean Park House, and this is the file that I'm going to put in a link on the blog so that you can access it and play with it. Okay, so I've got the roofs in here, you can see, and we got a little double door there. That's nice. Okay, so this building has the windows in already, but I'm going to show you, I'm going to run through the process of creating a window family, and also we're going to talk about the wall sweeps, which are the bits that come out just a little bit from the wall that are featured on Dean Park House. So let's have a look at creating that window family, and here we go. To do that, we go to File, New, Family, and we go all the way to the bottom of the list and we choose Metric Window. Let's click Open. Alright, so what we're going to see is in our window it's going to look something like this. This is actually the reference level. Now our window in Dean Park House is actually 4,230 millimeters wide, so we need a bigger piece of wall to work with here. So this is currently 4,000. I'm going to click on that and change it to 6,000. Okay, and that's going to give us enough space. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is open up the width of our window opening, which is 4,230. Okay, something like that. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is copy a reference level. So I'm going to select this reference plane, and we are going to copy that with the copy tool. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to bring another reference plane over there. Okay, now I need to equally space these reference planes around, and so I'm going to remove the constraints on here. Okay, we need to make sure that our overall size is still 4,230, so I'm going to make sure that it is. Okay, let's grab that over there, 4,200. Let's just check 4,230. Okay, and then this one here, we're going to modify the position of this to 1,410. okay, that's reduced the whole thing because I've got this equals turned on here, so I'm going to take that off. So let's check equal. It's no longer equal. I should be able to move it fine now, so I'm going to go 1,410. okay, and this one, the distance of this one, I need the dimension on there, so I'm clicking on my line dimensions, and once I've done that I should be able to, actually no, I need to click on the current dimensions because I'm going to modify this dimension. You see this button at the top, it says edit witness line, so I'm going to click on that. I'm going to add a point there. Now to finish this I need to click back on the top line here, and that completes that change. So let's now grab this reference plane here and change what that is, 1,410. Done. Okay, so now my reference planes are exactly where I need them to be, and the size of our window opening is exactly right, 4,230. I'm going to go to the exterior part of this particular family so we can have a look at it from the front. Okay, so the window opening has a height of 1,800, so we're increasing the size of that. Its sill height is 900. There we go. So now our opening is perfect and we can start to create. So in the Create tab we choose Extrusion, and we're going to use the rectangle tool to draw ourselves a rectangle all the way across, and then we're going to get our Offset tool and we're going to choose to offset our first rectangle by 20 millimeters. We're going to offset on the inside. We're going to go around the edges, and then we're going to zoom in and use our trim and extend to trim our paths here. So let's zoom out, grab that corner. So I'm going to trim to this line and click the other and zoom out. Zoom in here. I'm going to trim from this line here, and I'm going to come back to the other end. Okay, so you're selecting the line first that you want this line to go up to, so I select that and then I click the line here and that's trimmed. Okay, this is the first part of our window frame done. I'm going to press the tick. Okay, that looks good. Right, the next part of our window frame is another rectangle, so I'm selecting off, going to Create, choosing Extrusion again, selecting the rectangle tool, clicking and dragging, going to the bottom there and checking that's in position. It is. Let's get the offset going on. This time I'm going to offset at 60 millimeters, and here we go. I'm going to offset going around in a clockwise fashion. Doesn't really matter in this case, but it's a good habit. Let's use the trim and extend. So I'm trimming to this line here, trimming to this line here, trimming to this line here, trimming to this line here. Okay, that's looking good. The internal frame of this third of the window, let's click modify or tick. There we go, that is completed. Right, now this window frame is exactly the same as all the way to the right, so we're going to copy this, we're going to take that over using this point, and I'm going to snap it in there. So now we've got those two frames. The one in the middle is actually 40 millimeters wider, so we need to create a brand new extrusion. I'm using the rectangular tool, dragging that across, using my offset again, that's still set to 60, which is good, and I've got all those lines in there. Let's just trim that, trim to this line, trim there, trim to this line, trim there, trim to this line, trim there. That looks good. Alright, so we've got our frames, and these frames stick out a little bit differently, so I'm going to go to the reference level and I'm going to click on my frames. So this first one here, I'm going to drag that out just a little bit, something like that, and I'm now going to select the other frame because I think the frame comes out just a touch, something like that. Okay, so I'm going to do the same with this one here. Sometimes you need to use the tab key so you can select the right object. There we go, and let's take this one out. I don't want this one to be out so much, so it's going to snap like that. So I'm going to take the ones on the outside out just a little bit more, so like that and like that. Let's zoom out so we can see that that snaps. Good. Okay, so all our frames, I'm going to bring them in from the other end just to that reference plane at the back. Ooh, there we go. I'm going to click and drag to the reference plane. Let's click that one, drag to the reference plane. Okay, so we've got all our frames sorted out. We just need to do our glass. So that's very easy. We're going to use the Create tab again, use the extrusions, select the rectangle, click in one corner, drag all the way down and click in another, hit the tick, done. Deselect, choose create again, use the extrusion, grab the rectangle, click and click, hit the tick, deselect, create, one more, extrusion, rectangle tool, click on the corner, click on the other corner, tick, and that is done. So let's have a look again in our reference level. So we can now see our panes of glass, and I'm going to make them thinner. I'm going to drag that all the way to that top point and snap that into place. So the two outside windows are out just a little bit further than the middle one. There we go. Let's have a look in 3D view. So I'm opening that up, click on view 1, and there we have our window. Hold the shift key, middle mouse, and we can see there's our window ready. Now we have an opportunity to set some material categories with these windows, so I'm going to select a frame and click over here in material by category, click on the button, and then we're going to create a brand new one. So we're going to call this Dean Park House window underscore framing, and make sure you click instance. Okay, click OK, and I can select the other frames holding the control key, and I can select that outside frame as well, and I can allocate, I open up the materials, I can allocate that same category, click OK, and that's done. So now I want to select the panes of glass, do the same thing, create a brand new category, so Dean Park House window glass, and make sure instance is selected, click OK, and click OK, and now I can select the other windows, there we go, and I can align them to that same category. Let's have a look, there we go, grab that last one, change the category, click OK. Now this is at a point where we can load it into our document, so you can save this file by clicking on the little disk icon there, and then you can load it into your project, choose whichever one you've got open, make sure it's checked, and click OK. So I'm going to go into that project. Let's take a look. This is an advanced one. We're going to go back to this one. Okay, and let's close that for a minute. You can see that I already had Windows in position. It's updated the family. You can always go back into your family, make changes, change the amount of panes, or change the glass, or change the frame. You can select all of those instances with right click, select all instances, entire project, and we can see that we've got our material categories, and from here you'll be able to change the different materials that you apply to your window. Okay, so that is how we create a custom window family. Alright, so another thing that I wanted to show you was wall sweeps. Okay, so that's the part that sweeps around the wall, which protrudes from the wall, and you know that is very evident in Dean Park House. So let's look at the further on model. You can see the sweeps on this Dean Park House. So let's add some here. Alright, to do this you'll need to create another family, and this family you will go to File, New, Family. Now this one doesn't have a set name really. It is you are going to choose profile, metric profile, and let's click open. Okay, so this is just a profile which Revit will use to create the wall sweep. Now on Dean Park House is quite a specific profile for the sweep, and you will need to draw some lines right here. So I'm going to draw a rectangle. So I'm going to snap this, like this, and I am not worried about the measurements at this stage because I am going to apply some dimensions which are going to help me to draw the shape. So I'm going to put those there, and I'm clicking on the references as well, which you'll notice. Now the measurements here for the sweep are equal on this part here, so let's just change the dimension first. So that bottom one, let's use our modify tool, and let's make sure I'm clicking on that line there. Okay, so the measurement is this 675, and this one also, let's do enter, and this one is also 675. Okay, and then on the top we have let's click on this one, we have 100, and then on this one we have 150. Okay, and that is our wall sweep that we can load in. So we can choose to load that into our project, we can save that. Okay, once we've done that, we'll be able to apply it in our 3D model. So let's have a look. We've got our bare shell, and we are now going to add that wall sweep. So how do we add a wall sweep? We need to go to the wall tool, and we go down here to wall sweep. Okay, once you've done that, you will be able to select your sweep. It will come in wall sweep cornice, and we'll be able to add that to our building. So if you hover over the walls, you can see our profile is being used to add that sweep. So I can click here, and you can keep clicking around your building to add the sweep. Let's hold shift and rotate around, and let's put one over here. Brilliant. I'm going to press on the modify tool now, and you can see there is my sweep. I'm going to select that sweep, and it needs to have a very specific offset, which is 225, and that should fit perfectly, and it does. Okay, now once you've created a sweep, just like with dimensions, we can add and remove walls. So I can click on this tool here, add and remove walls, and I'm going to rotate around. I'm going to add the sweep on this wall as well. So let's put it there, and let's keep going around. Put it there, and let's click modify. Have a look. Okay, so we've got a little bit of an issue here where the sweep has gone on the wrong side, so you have to watch out for that. So I'm going to go to my first floor plan, and let's have a look at where that's happened. That's happened here. So I'm going to zoom in and select that sweep, and I should be able to flip it around. Let's have a look at add modify. Let's get that there, and let's see if we can put it on that side. There we go. Alright, so let's go back to 3D view, and you can see that sweep is looking good. It's going all the way around just where we want it. So Dean Park House doesn't have the sweep on the fire escape or on the lift shaft area either. But once you've got that offset right, you can select that, click copy, click on the clipboard paste drop down, choose align to selected levels. Now it's an interesting building because it does not have it on the second floor, but we want to put it on the third, fourth, fifth and sixth floor, and click OK. And you can now see when it's loaded, there's our sweep going up the building. Now you do actually have a sweep on the very top level, and that's a slightly different height because our roofs are different heights, so I'm going to let you experiment with that. Now we've done custom window families, we've moved those reference planes, we've added dimensions. We actually created a metric profile for a sweep to make a custom sweep for Dean Park House. We've applied that sweep and then we've copied it and aligned it to the selected levels. So very quickly we've got our sweeps onto our building, and we've got our window families that we can adjust at any time. We can adjust all the materials, and your shell, once you've got your sweeps on, should be looking pretty good. So thank you for watching and see you soon.